Racist cop arrests black judge by mistake. What happens next is shocking. It was a quiet evening when Judge Marcus Reed, a well-respected black judge known for his firm yet fair rulings, was driving home in his luxury car after a long day in court. Dressed in a crisp suit with his judge's robe neatly folded in the back seat, Marcus was reflecting on the cases he had heard that day. Suddenly, the sharp flash of red and blue lights lit up his rearview mirror. A police siren wailed behind him. Confused but calm, Marcus pulled over to the side of the road. A stern-looking police officer, Officer Grant, stepped out of his patrol car, hand resting on his holster. His eyes immediately darted to Marcus's car, an expensive, high-end vehicle. "License and registration," Officer Grant barked, his tone sharp and unforgiving. Marcus remained calm. "Of course, officer. May I ask why I'm being stopped?" Grant's eyes narrowed. "I'll ask the questions here. Hands where I can see them." As Marcus reached for his wallet slowly, he couldn't help but notice the way Officer Grant was eyeing him, not with suspicion about a traffic violation, but something deeper, something uglier. When Marcus handed over his license and registration, the officer barely glanced at them. "This car's pretty nice," Grant said, his voice laced with sarcasm. "A bit too nice for someone like you." Marcus froze for a moment. He had heard this before, the assumption that a black man driving an expensive car must have stolen it. "Officer, I can assure you this car is mine," Marcus said, keeping his voice even. Grant, however, wasn't interested. "Step out of the vehicle," he ordered. Marcus tried to reason with him. There must be some misunderstanding. But before he could finish, Officer Grant yanked open the car door and grabbed Marcus's arm, twisting it behind his back and slamming him against the hood of the car. The cold metal of the handcuffs snapped around his wrists. "Where'd you steal the car?" Grant growled. "Talk." "I didn't steal anything," Marcus replied, wincing from the pressure on his arm. "I'm Judge Marcus Reed." Grant laughed, a cruel smirk spreading across his face. "A judge, right, and I'm the president." Marcus didn't say another word. He knew arguing wouldn't help, not right now. He was shoved into the back of the police car, his suit crumpled, his dignity trampled. Bystanders had gathered, some recording the incident on their phones. At the station, Marcus was placed in an interrogation room, still handcuffed, while Officer Grant filled out paperwork, convinced he had just taken down a criminal. That's when the door flew open and Captain Harris, a senior officer, stormed in. Her face went pale the moment she saw Marcus. "Judge Reed," she gasped. Officer Grant looked confused. "Wait, you know him?" "Of course I know him," Captain Harris snapped. "He's a sitting judge." Grant's face drained of color. I thought he." "You thought what?" Harris demanded. "That a black man driving a nice car had to be a thief." Marcus remained calm, though his eyes held a quiet fury. "This isn't about me," he finally said. "It's about the people who don't have a title to protect them." The room fell into an uncomfortable silence. The story didn't end there. The next day, the incident went viral. The videos taken by bystanders spread like wildfire. People were outraged. Protests erupted, calling for justice and accountability. Marcus didn't stay silent either. At a press conference, he stood tall at the podium, flanked by city officials. "What happened to me was unacceptable," Marcus said, his voice steady but firm. "But I had the privilege of being recognized. What about those who aren't judges? Those who are mistreated simply because of the color of their skin?" He went on to demand a full review of police procedures and mandatory bias training for officers. His words echoed far and wide. Justice isn't a privilege, it's a right. For everyone. Officer Grant was suspended pending investigation. Captain Harris vowed to overhaul department policies. But most importantly, Judge Marcus Reed became a symbol, not of a man wronged by a broken system, but of a leader fighting to fix it. Because, as he said in his closing statement,